I want to show you how to put together the FJELLSE twin IKEA bed frame, and we got the slats for it. They don't come in the box of the frame. You have to buy that separate. So this big brown box is the actual frame, and I'm going to open it up and see what's inside of it. Okay, so once you open the box on the bed frame, there's about 8,000 pieces, and IKEA's goofy instructions of the stick people that everybody loves. So if you watch this video, you don't have to follow the stick people, you can see how we put it together. Alright, I was just checking over this big bag of hardware, and what I'm going to do is, IKEA gives you this little twisty thing to put the screws in with, but I have the cordless drill all set up with the proper bit, and a little adapter to put into the drill with. It comes right out, and it'll speed the process up a lot faster. These screws come with like a weird kind of torque spit type head on them, so it'll cut your time in half than as opposed to using this. So if you have a cordless drill and some torque spits, it'll be a lot faster if you kind of hook yourself up that way. And so kind of go through the motions and show you how to put this thing together. It's not too hard to do. Alright, just one thing I wanted to add at the beginning of the video is that some of the screws, there's two different kinds of screws that are included in this kit. Some are coarse and some aren't. The ones that are not coarse are the ones that go to attach the head and the footboard. And the coarse ones are used in the steps that join like the headboard and the footboard and all the wooden pieces that go together. These are used to drill into the wood. These are used to go into the metal sleeves on the frame rails. So I wanted to clarify that. Alright, so your first step in this process is you're going to want to grab these three short pieces, and you're going to have 6 wooden dowels to place in the ends of them. So every piece on both ends has one of these holes, and you need to place these dowels into the holes. And it should go in there pretty easily. One. Put the rest of these in. One other thing I wanted to bring to your attention and make you aware of, there's a few different sizes of these little dowels. The smaller ones go into these slats, not the bigger ones. Ask me how I found out. If you put the bigger one in by mistake, don't fear. What you can do is, all you need to do is, at the end of it, put like a pair of pliers in the end. And just like that, you should be able to wiggle it, pull it right out, and put the proper smaller one in. So it's a little trick for you if you do indeed put the big one in by mistake. Just remember that these take the smaller of the dowels, the wooden dowels. Alright, so your next step is, once you have those 3 slats all set up with the dowels at the end, you're going to pick this channel that has 3 holes in it, and you're going to grab one of these boards. There's 2 in the box, and on the side there's 3 holes. So you're going to match up and put these 3 dowels, or slats, into those holes and match them up with these holes. So I'm going to do that in 1 second. So when you're done, this is how that piece will look, just like that. So once this piece is together on the big piece of wood, the big flat piece, at the end there's 3 holes on both ends. You're going to put 2 of the smaller dowels in the holes on each end. And I'll show you where to place them. So you're going to take your smaller of the 2 dowels, and you're going to put one over here in this hole. And then one at the end hole. You're going to want to leave that middle hole available for something else. And make sure it's all seated. So that's on that end. And now we'll move it to the other end. And then this end is the same way. So you're going to put 2 more in, just like you did on the opposite end. Just like that. Sorry if we get in the way of the camera here. Great. So, on to the next step. Okay, so once you have the dowels in the ends of those two pieces, you're going to grab these two pieces that are angled at the top, and we'll place those on the opposite ends of each other. And they're made, they're pretty much similar. So I'll put them on the end and I'll show you how they go into place. Two end pieces are going to go on just like this, and you're going to repeat this process on both sides. There's 3 holes. The middle hole will have a screw on the top. And then the bottom, there's a hole right there for the screw, and also a hole, let's see, on the other end of the bottom part. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to match up these 2 ends right there. And you're going to push the dowels into the 2 holes on the top, so you're going to line right up like that, and there is no dowel at the bottom, it's just the screw that holds that in place. When you're starting these screws, make sure you do it by hand. Don't zap them in if you're using a screw gun like I am. Separate them a little bit and line up the holes and make sure that the screw is finding its way into the hole properly, and once it is, you can kind of set it in place. Same on this end. Holes right here. And I'm going to push all the way, and I can feel it starting to bite at the other end. So, screw this in. And once it gets a little hard to screw, then we'll use the gun. Another thing to keep in mind on these end pieces, one side has 2 holes and one side has 3. So make sure on both sides that they're the same way. Make sure you don't have one flipped around if it's even possible and that they line up correctly. So right now I'm going to grab a screw gun. I'm going to zap this into place. There's one. That's my bit. And you can see how much faster and easier it is with the cordless drill. There you go. That one's all set. And then repeat the process on the opposite end of the bed. Alright, so once everything's bolted together, the headboard is looking pretty good, pretty sweet. Alright, so this is a lot easier to evolve than those crazy instructions they give you. On to the next thing. Alright, so our next step, once we've done the headboard, is to assemble the footboard. And it's another one of those flat pieces in the middle. And it's 2 end pieces for the feet. And make sure that the 3 holes are the same way, because on the other end there's 2 holes, and that the beveled edge is on the inside. That's exactly how it is. And then if you notice, it'll match like the headboard. The bevel edges are on the inside. So we're going to put this together, and you're going to need, once again, the smaller dowels. You're going to need 4. 1 here, 1 there, 1 on that end, and 1 on that end. So put them on the end holes. That middle hole is going to be for a screw. You have the dowels in place. It's going to look like that. You're going to line them up with the holes on the inside. And then you're going to take a screw and you're going to put it through that middle hole on each end. So I'm kind of showing you how everything goes together. You're going to repeat this process on both sides. And you're going to obviously slide this together. I'm kind of trying to do this with one hand. Let's see if I can. I'm going to slide that together and then I'll screw that screw in place. So your next step in this process is to grab the 2 side rails, and you're going to need 4 dowels, and there's 1 that goes in each of the end pieces. So you're going to put 1 here. There's 3 holes in the middle. I'm going to put 1 in each of the middle holes at each end. And again, they're the smaller dowels and not the larger ones. Once you have these dowels in place, the next step is on these side rails at each end there's 4 holes. And there's 4 of these metal pins. So you're going to push these pins up through each of those 4 holes. There's 1 at each end. And make sure you line these threads up with the holes in the end, because you're going to need to screw a bolt in there in another step. So that's all you need to do. Is take the dowel and make sure that there's a slot in these, that the slot is accessible by a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver. So you want to make sure that those are up, because the other side's flat. And if these threaded parts, get off center, you can't twist it back out. It'll be a pain to get it out. Just kind of plop them in place, and again, do one at each end, and I'll be on to the next step. All right, so once those metal sleeves are into all 4 of these holes, now the fun's going to begin. Now you have to flip these around. Keep your finger on the hole, because if you don't, the metal sleeve's going to come out. And you have to put this tab, this dowel, into the headboard and the footboard. So that middle one's going to go into the middle right there. And then the top and the bottom holes will have 2 of those, the millimeter threads that'll go through there to join the sleeves at the end of the holes right here. So that sleeve that's down in there, once you put this against the headboard and the footboard, you're going to have 2 bolts on each end that fasten it together. In the middle of putting all this together, here's a quick tip, so you don't go mental trying to keep that little sleeve in there. Flip the whole thing upside down. Make sure that these bottom rails are lower, and because they're off center, they're not completely centered. Then take your sleeve, once again, make sure that slot's in there, and drop it down in there. And now, you have gravity on your side. You don't have to keep your finger up in there to hold it in place. And then you can kind of take your screws and the lines right up for you. This is going to save you like a ton of headaches. So start in by hand, do the top, grab your drill, zap them in, and then keep on going on the other side. Right, so now we finished up the headboard. Both sides are all set on the headboard. When you come down to the footboard, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to line up this little dowel to the center hole on the footboard. Like I showed you previously in the video, drop down one of the metal sleeves, line up the holes, and then you won't have stuff fighting against you. Then put the 2 screws in each of these holes on both sides, and that'll button it all up for you. So once you get your footboard together and your headboard together, the last step in the process before you put the bed mattress on is to put the middle slats in. So you gotta cut these 3 plastic bands, and then they're all kind of strung together with a ribbon. So you're gonna undo them and kind of spread them out into the middle of the frame. That'll support the mattress and the box spring. Alright, once you're done putting in all the middle slats, this is what it'll look like. And you're now done putting your IKEA bed together, and all you need to do left is to put the box spring and the mattress on it. Hope you liked the video, and please subscribe to our channel.